We will talk about the inverter selection. An inverter is a device that turns DC electricity into AC. According to your PV module selection, you can select the inverters in this tab. You can also let PVSol suggest an inverter or inverters for you. Here, you can limit the list from which the selection could be made. We can, for example, select all of the inverters in the database, and then press the green icon so that PVSol can suggest an inverter size. But what is the criteria of selection made by PVSol? We click here, then configuration criteria. PVSol will not only select an inverter, it could also suggest a configuration. The inverter is selected so that the current and voltage ratings and also the power ratings is suitable for the PV system. It suggests an inverter with higher power, voltage and current rating, also suggests a configuration according to this criteria. Allow free MPP tracker. MPP or maximum power point tracking is a technique used to maximize the power output of the PV system. It's connected to the PV system and uses oftenly a DC to DC converter to step up or down the current and voltage until the maximum power is obtained. It's a part of solar inverters. A free MPP inverter is an inverter that contains an MPP channel that's connected to a PV system and another one or at least one free channel. You can connect or use it, and you choose to use it or not. Both ways the inverter will work. Some inverters must have fully connected MPP channels to operate or work. Maximize possible use of MPP trackers. Select the inverters with the maximum number of MPP channels to maximize power output. However, it's not recommended to use it too often, as it's not a cost-effective method. Utilize MPP trackers as evenly as possible. This selection tries to uniformly distribute MPP channels if more than one inverter is selected. If we say we have two different inverters, try to make each of them have one MPP channel or equal number of MPP channels. Also, don't choose maximum number of MPP channels or increase cost of the inverters. Try to get as few as possible MPP channels to make it cost effective. We click OK. Sizing factor is the rating of the PV system or DC rating divided by the rating of the inverter with AC rating. You are only allowed to work in the yellow and green areas. Yellow means just right or within the tolerance, while green is good or best sizing. Minimum voltage of MPP is the PV system voltage at the rated output current 70 degrees Celsius and 1000 watt per meter square irradiance, so that the MPP could work and the inverter too. Maximum input current is the maximum allowed current from the PV system. All of the tolerances could be obtained by surveying or through manufacturers. Those, by the way, are part of the criteria of selection of the inverters. Unbalanced loads makes phases carry different current, so the neutral will always carry net unbalanced currents. Through measuring current and voltage across the inverter's AC side, you can obtain an average unbalanced load in kilovolt ampere. For multi-phase system in Germany, for example, the maximum unbalanced load is limited to 4.6 kilovolt ampere. The selection ensures the configuration of your DC to AC system guarantees a limit of the maximum unbalanced load or kilovolt ampere unbalanced load. Some inverters contain compensation circuits to correct power factor and compensate unbalanced loads. If the load imbalance is more than 4.6 kV ampere, for example, you will get a warning message. Maximum voltage or the maximum system voltage limits the voltage to DC side as the inverter input to the value desired or recommended by the grid or the government. If the voltage at the DC side or the accepted DC voltage of the inverter is more than 1000 volt, then there will be a warning message or an error. The minimum maximum MPP voltage test conditions could be changed. It's already given or recommended by the manufacturer. It tests whether the voltage at these conditions corresponds to the MBB channel of the inverter voltage range or not.